represents an admiration for prior recipients. Subsequently, the tragic events of last week occurred, and the decision has been made to not move forward with the award. Above all, I am an American citizen with great reverence for our nation's values, freedom, and democracy. Shannon, yesterday you said you thought he should accept the honor, so why do you think he decided to turn it down?
He realized that President Trump was trying to use him as a pawn, and the one thing that Coach Belichick will not be used as a pawn. I generally believe he was conflicted. That is my friend. I have the utmost respect for him. I don't always agree, Skip. Sometimes we don't always agree with some of the things that our friends say or what they do. But 20 years, 30 years in the making, it's just hard to turn your back on the guy.
Yep.
But he also, and he said something very interesting, Skip. He says, I love this country. And what transpired on Wednesday at a lot of the incitement by this president, I don't agree with. He's my friend, but this is unacceptable. And he said one of the most rewarding things in my professional career took place in 2020. Went through great leadership within our team. Conversation about social justice, equality, human rights moved to the forefront and became action. Had he accepted this award, he said that would have been nothing. Skip, we see a lot of people when the George Floyd movement and the Black Lives Matter, everybody's talking about diversity, equality, yada, yada, yada. But we have seen a lot of that to be implemented. We have seen a lot of those changes to take place. Coach Belichick says, I'm not just going to talk about it, I'm going to be about it. I heard the McCourty brothers say, we had great conversation, open dialogue, and that was led by Coach Belichick. So he understood, I can't say this, do that, and accept this award. I cannot in good conscience.
Cannot.
And like I said, Skip, you know, they didn't, if I'm not mistaken, they said it was a scheduling conflict. I don't think they went to the White House. Or did they go? I think they might have turned that down in 2019.
Oh, 2019.
With the 20, because they won the Super Bowl. Didn't they win the Super Bowl?
2018.
So it would have been 2019. They went to the. So for me, Skip, I just think he did the right thing, knowing what transpired in America on Wednesday. And it was a black guy in American history.
It was.
It's not a good look. Yep. But I want some other guys, Skip. And one guy I want to hear Dabo. I want to hear from Dabo Swinney, because Dabo Swinney had a lot to say about Black Lives Matter, how he couldn't get down with it. And he was one of the first ones, Skip, that said, you know, if this country is so bad, why don't you leave? All those people that took over the Capitol, that was at that rally, if this country is so bad and you don't like it, why don't you leave? You see, there's an assumption that because if I'm white, I'm entitled to something, and black, you should just tolerate it, be grateful that you're here, and be grateful that you have something. You see, we see things, and everybody saw this. Coach Belichick, kudos. Skip, Coach Belichick can be cruel. He can be callous.
Yep.
But I believe everything that he does football related, he believes gives him a chance to win. I hated it, and I called him to the carpet when he deactivated Taquan Underwood the night before the Super Bowl. After that man had done brought all his family down, expecting to see him play, he deactivated him for a defensive lineman that didn't set foot on the field.
Yep.
But I believe Coach Belichick believed that they were thin at the defensive line, and I needed just in case. So even though it was cruel, I believe he did it because he felt it would help him win the football game.
Yep.
Just like I believe this. You might think the cutoff, he doesn't smile, and he's the monotone, he doesn't give you anything. But Coach Belichick is a lot smarter than people give him credit for. And the military background. Skip, it's one thing to say, oh, yeah, the military, yada, yada, yada. But he believes it. There's something about Coach Belichick that's different, even though a lot of times he doesn't show it. But this was the right thing to do. Given the certain, now, if this had not have happened, Skip, I believe he would have accepted this award. But given the totality and the gravity of what transpired last Wednesday, Coach Belichick in good conscience could not accept this award.
And when you refer to his military background, you mean?
I think he didn't go, but his dad was a coach at the Naval Academy.
For 30 years.
Yes.
And remember, he grew up in Bill grew up in
Annapolis. Correct.
So he was steeped in the naval culture.
Yes.
And is still highly regarded in Annapolis Navy.
Yes. No, he has no military background.
He didn't serve. Okay, just for the record.
Right.
Okay, got you. Okay, I have never been the biggest Belichick fan, have highest regard for him as a defensive coordinator, type of defensive guru, genius, if you want to go that far. There's also a legacy in his football background of cheating, accusations of cheating. And I still say that Brady was more responsible for the dynasty than Belichick. But sweep that away for the moment. I said last night, good for Bill Belichick.
Yes.
He couldn't accept this on so many levels. And I believe he knew he couldn't. I also think he's a shrewd enough operator to know that deep, deep down, the mere fact that this was publicized, that he was slated to receive the award, in the minds of most people, he got it, right? He just didn't go to the White House for the photo op, being a PR pawn that he would have become for the current president. That he stopped short of that. I cannot do this. So I'm proud of him. Way to go, Bill Belichick. It was a pretty powerful statement from a very close friend of Donald Trump that at the last second he finally said, no, even I can't do this. Because to your point, what happened a week ago, or last Wednesday it was, it was a stain on the history of this country, because one of the most sacred structures in this country got invaded, with rioters making it all the way to the floor of the Senate chamber. The more I think about it, the worse it gets.
If somebody would have told you at some point in time the Capitol will be overrun and they'll be actually inside, not for photo ops, but doing destruction and rioting, would you have believed it in America?
No, it's impossible.
No way.
And what if I told you, even though some might have been armed, not sure about that, what if I told you nobody pulled a gun, nobody had a weapon? They had some clubs, they had some chemical spray, but it was clubs and chemical spray, no firearms. I saw no firearms. None were used in the storming of the Capitol. How is that possible? Aha, we know how it's possible. It was an inside job.
And the FBI is investigating.
They are investigating, and I believe Donald Trump will be prosecuted for this, for inciting and enabling somehow internally that the word was sent, you will stand down and let them pass.
It's kind of like when a Brinks car, when somebody goes into a Brinks and they rob a Brinks and no shots are fired. Oh, that's the inside job. You got two armed guards, and nobody got hurt, and they only got the money. They didn't have the die in it.
Okay, and obviously now 15 of the Capitol cops are being investigated. 2 have already been suspended. I read reportedly 1 was fired.
Yes.
And it may have been the photo op one who was actually taking selfies with some of the Trump
Or it might have been the one with the MAGA hat.
It could have been. I think he was suspended, I believe. So obviously, some of these Capitol cops were just Trump loyalists. We get that. And others might have been told, just let them pass. We want no bloodshed here. And it was reported, I saw yesterday on CNN for a while. I was watching in the afternoon to see what the update was on the story. And there were some reports that where was the National Guard? Well, they were supposed to have been called 4 hours earlier, and I don't know what happened. I think an order came down from above. They will not be there for a while.